I'm going to tell you guys something. This is the only place you're going to hear it straight from the horse's mouth. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. Because I'm tired of people talking to me about religion. I don't have anything against religion. I don't have anything against whatever anybody wants to believe. But since I was a child, I always felt like something was wrong with the religion. I was always searching. I was a Baptist. I was a Christian, non-denominational. Then I went to being Buddhist. So I'm searching since I was a child. I take nothing away from what someone else believes. It's your belief. I ask that you do not push your beliefs on me. Whatever you feel is your Savior, wherever that you feel that is your Lord or your God, it's for you, but not for me. And you will see in a few minutes why I say what I say. Just recently, Putin opened up some archives and said that Jesus was black. Showed the paintings and everything. But here in the United States, people think this Jesus was white. So how much of the Bible do you believe? If they lied about the man being white, what makes you think anything else in the Bible is true? Provided that you are gifted with the power of discernment. And one thing that is true, there is a beginning and an ending. There are those that will go and there are those that will not. There will be those that will stay on the old earth in the old heaven. And there will be those that will be going to the new heaven and the new earth. This will happen. But please stop pushing your agenda on me about Jesus when you don't know the facts. When you're talking about something that's passed down from generation to generation and everyone had their hand in it, changing and putting in what they see fit. This is a problem with some of you. You don't question. You stay inside your little box and you expect to push your agenda out on everyone else that's on social media or someone who is doing a platform. I have nothing but respect for this Jesus. But let me let you in on a little secret. This supposedly white Jesus that everyone pray here to call as being God. If you're really reading the Bible and you're looking, you see it says pray to no image. That means the cross, and that means that this man that they painted, that's an image. So, You can continue to believe what you want to believe, that's your right, but don't push your beliefs out on me. And how can you believe something that you were not even there? Because it's been passed down from generation to generation. So if they lied to you and said that he was white, what makes you think that there was nothing else that was lied about in that book? There's many books that are missing that was supposed to have been put in there, but they felt the public should not know. So let me tell you about this white Jesus. In my dream, I'm in a car with some people, and there are 4 of us in this car. I have a real eerie feeling. It was a very unsettling feeling of something was coming, but it was not benevolent. So I locked all the doors because it was an automatic lock. But the people inside the car were banging on the doors and the windows. Whomever this being was, they were agitating him. But I felt that something wasn't right. So this being comes to the driver's side door and almost snatched the door off the hinges, very angry. If you think that's something, I'll do you one better. I'm in a dream, and there is a woman that was trying to come on to me. And I took my hands and I put them just like this across her face. I said, in the name of Jesus, and I burned her face. Another dream. There was a boy that was messing with another little boy. The little boy had short arms. He was like almost like handicapped, but he was a midget, but he was short. And I don't mean to say the word midget, but he was a short person with short arms. These kids were normal. They were making fun of him, all kinds of stuff. There was some work being done on a house, no, an apartment complex. They were renovating the apartment complex, and they had a scaffold on the second floor. But I'm over at the shop getting my car repaired. My best friend was getting a car repaired. I took to get it repaired. And in between the apartment complex and the shop, the office was up in front of the apartment complex. And the shop was somewhere on the side or in the middle of the complex. But this kid, I had him to come in with me into the shop, and I had him to call his father. His father came and picked him up. This kid's arms were up here. His hands was right here. His father, full, but he was still a short person. But he had same length of hands, same length of arms, same length of legs, but he was just a short person, extremely short. This kid comes back. This kid comes, he calls his father. His father comes and picks him up. The father comes in and says, "Hey, my son wants to give you something." He gave me a book. By this time it's daylight. Then when I go to, I see the keys hanging up on this rack where they took the keys and it had like a little emblem on it. So they were taking her car. I opened up the door and looked outside, and I could see it was getting dark, like extremely fast. It went from daylight to dark quickly. But when the car was ready, I walked outside to go get the car. And the next thing you know, I see this child, I see the same kid with the hands up here on his shoulders. And these kids that were making fun of him was trying to get him to jump from the second floor from the scaffold. So I flew up and grabbed the kid. I literally flew up and went and grabbed the kid and brought the kid back down. So this kid that was making fun of him, pointing and laughing, he had like the Caesar haircut, blonde hair. Before you know it, there was a column, square column, about the same height as where the second floor, where the scaffold was. This kid was on that scaffold. He was steady laughing and pointing at the kid where his hands was here on his shoulders, steady laughing. All of a sudden, this kid fell back. The one that was laughing hit the floor, smacked his head. This kid should have been dead. The kid started to get up, and I ran over there, and I grabbed him by his shirt, and I had my right hand in his face, and I said, "Who do you serve?" And the kid said, "Who do you serve?" I said, "Who do you serve?" The kid said, "Who do you serve?" The third time I asked him, "Who do you serve?" he was fixing to say again, "Who do I serve?" And I said, "Let there be light." And it got so bright that I was blinded and I was woken up out of my sleep. So you tell me, which dream sounds more benevolent and which dreams sound more demonic? Is it the frying of flesh? Or is it calling on the light, removing a dark entity? What do you think? I'll give you a second to think about it. Which one of these dreams seems benevolent to you, and which one seems demonic? I'll give you another dream. I'm in this dream and I have a hammer. It has a nipple on one end and a hammerhead on the other end. And it kind of looks like a phallus on one end and a hammer on the other end. And I take the hammer and I throw it at the mountain. And the hammer hits the mountain, but the mountain doesn't crumble. But when I roared, the mountain crumbled. When I woke up that same morning when I had that dream, 8 feet away from me, where I was sleeping on my bunk, the person that was sleeping 8 feet away from me, he started singing Lion King. I'll do you one better. I was speaking to a young man while I was in Satan's kingdom. And I said to him, no, I had him read a scripture. And it said, a lion had been made to stand. Feathers were plucked. Was given a man's heart. The man said he had to take a double look at me. For 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, he ran from me. He didn't want to come to the group prayer prayer circle. He didn't want to come to the group prayer circle. Every time I tried to get him to come, he wouldn't come. One day I asked him, I said, "What's up, man? What's going on? Why are you not coming to the prayer circle?" He said, "I'm going to tell you the truth. When I read that and I looked at you, this is why I had to look at you twice, because I saw the lion's face on your face." Think that's something? I'll do you one better. This is how spirit works, the creator of all things. Another kid came in, spoke the same story. I had him read the same story. But get this, the kid that I spoke to first about the story, he was sleeping up above this kid. The kid that I told the first time about the first story about it, he read the first one about it, about the lion. Had this same kid that was sleeping under him read that same story out of the Bible. This was at nighttime when we was reading this, right after we had the prayer meet. This kid said the very next morning he called his wife, and his wife told him that he had a dream, that she had a dream, that he was talking to a lion that was speaking in parables. She said it was so bright that she clasped her hands together to ask if she can come closer. But the more she tried to come closer, the brighter it got. Is this convincing enough for you? Do you see where I'm going with this? Do you see why I'm called the Lion of Judah? And this is as real as it's going to get. You heard it first here. Now, when I asked for help, I didn't call on Jesus. And it says in the book, no man can come to the Father. They have to come through me to get to the Father. This being that I went to is the creator of all things. But the creator is written about in the book. How this creator doesn't know Adam and Eve were naked in the garden. Because he asked, who told you you were naked? So how is this person all-knowing and all-seeing, but yet you call this being a man? This creation, this creator, it has no form. It has no gender. This creator has no image. It is light. It is the Christ. So this is the being that called upon. And this is a presence that I felt over me when I learned how to forgive my mother for what she did to me. The very first person that hurt me. Not once have I called upon this Jesus and anything ever happened. Not once. When I called upon the Creator, I said, if you hear me, you hear my cry, please send me a sign. I was looking at a cross, but it wasn't your normal cross, it was an Ankh. But that's another story. But even so, when I said, if you hear my cry, please send me a sign, you don't get very many hawks flying in the southwest part of town in Texas where I am. But a hawk came down. I walked out of my healing room into my ex-girlfriend's room where she does her work. And as soon as I stepped my right foot through the door, right outside her window is a tree, and a hawk landed the same time I walked in her room door. You think that's something? In one of my dreams, I met Eve. All this stuff you're hearing it here first. This is no one else's story but mine. In my dream, I met Eve. She says to me, do you know what happened to my ankle? Was it deliberate or was it on purpose? Was it on purpose or was it an accident? I said it was deliberate. She said, keep watching the screen. She had a pad. It showed to me that there was a golden lion that showed up. And this lion swiped with his right paw, spin to his right. It started to rain. The mane started to get wet. And the closer the mane got to his head, to its scalp, my face appeared on the lion's face. I said, Almighty, you know the reason why I'd never read the Bible. I said, you know that I have a disability. And I'm dyslexic. The very next morning, in between sleep and awake, a vision was given to me of a book in clouds. When we think about clouds, we think about the wind. We think about the breath. When we look at the book, we think about a book that's a ledger, or this book is a diary. If it's not a diary, it is a book of knowledge. So I interpreted this vision as being the breath of knowledge. So you see, do not come to me with this Jesus stuff. I respect everyone. I respect everyone what they believe. When I call for help, it wasn't through Jesus. When I was in Satan's kingdom, I didn't call on Jesus. I called on the Spirit, Source, the Christ, the creator of all things. before you all start sending me this stuff, I believe you should go through my videos and look, because I speak about Sodom and Gomorrah. In this place, I wasn't supposed to leave that place alive. There was a bounty on my head. When I got in there, I had a lawyer, and it was a male lawyer. 2 months later, I had a female lawyer. This was the Christ that sent this woman to me. I had DAs that wanted to put me under the jail for something that I didn't do. But the Christ sent me another DA and freed me. Not only that, my lawyer tried coming to see me a couple times, but the message never got to me. Because why? Because these demons wanted to see me dead. So the only reason why I got out of Satan's kingdom was because of the Christ, because of Spirit, because of Source, because of the Creator of all things, all beings, all universes. I didn't call upon Jesus. I knew my signs when they were given to me. And if you don't know about, let me put it to you like this. In my lucid dream, I was in a tree, picked up by a light being, a being made of light, humanoid form, standing upright, picked me up out of a tree. I woke up out of my sleep in the third dimensional physical realm, hissing like a cat. Now, I'm in Satan's kingdom. And I do a drawing of two light beings. And right beside one of those light beings, in the shadows, was a baby cub lion that I didn't put there. A man come inside the room 1 week after I drew this drawing and says that he sees a 2-foot cat swiping at his privates. I asked the young kid to go ask him what kind of cat was it. He come back and told me that it was a lion, a baby cub, 2-foot lion. This man had a Mason ring on his finger. Before he left that room, the Mason ring was cut off his finger. 2 years after being on the 5th floor, I look out the corner of my eye, my peripheral left corner of my eye, and on the column, I see the shadow of a lion with full mane. So don't come to me about this Jesus. Have I said enough yet? Okay, I'll do you one better. Man come in the room and tell me about the seat of mercy. But before he come in, a week before he comes in, he tells me, a week before he comes in, the Christ sent me a vision of a seat. And this seat, I didn't know what it was, but I drew it. Because this is how I communicate. This is how Spirit communicates with me. If it's not through my drawings, it's through something else. It's through dreaming or visions. Before I knew it, was asking, another guy came in and asked me about the cherubim. Never seen a cherubim before. 1 week before he came in, it was shown to me a cherubim from the Christ, from the Creator. Each time someone came in, I drew a drawing that was sent to me by the mind's eye, by the Christ, by the Creator of all things. The same man that was this man that told me about the seat of mercy. One night he's sleeping up above me, but he's not sleeping yet, but he's up there talking to himself. And I said, leave, demon. And I said it in my head, but he spoke out loud, you're no God. I said, leave, demon. He says, and I said it in my head again, leave, demon. He says out loud, you're no God. I said it again in my head, leave, demon. He said it out loud for a third time. By this time, the energy is swelling. Then the energy popped. He sat in his bed for 30 minutes, quiet. This is a being that told me he pleasured himself smoking crack and reading the Bible at the same time. So this was a demonic spirit. The other person that told me about the cherubim, I asked him, I said, can you show me where that is again about the cherubim in the Bible? He says, I don't know. You're the chosen one. You should be able to find it. I never told him I was a chosen one. But he was a demon. Because he was nice in the beginning. In the instant I asked him to show it to me a second time, he was someone else. So Source, the Christ, the Creator of all things, use everyone and everything. So I hope I solidified myself to what I believe. And I believe in what's been shown to me, not something you read from a book. But there are some things that's in that book that have received the power of discernment. Before I went to Satan's kingdom, I asked, when I said, you know the reason why I never read the Bible. And I asked, I said, which Bible should I have? And I've written down multiple Bibles. And it said King James. When I got to Satan's kingdom, 2 weeks after I'm there, a kid walks in with a King James Bible and gifted it to me. Then another man had a King James Study Bible and gifted it to me. So these things were waiting for me when I got there. Nothing passes through me without a purpose, spiritual purpose. Whenever I need to know something, I go to the Bible. At the same time, I use the power of discernment. So before I even knew what I was doing and seeing what I was seeing, my very first vision was a biblical vision of those that hid within the mountains, saying, "Fall on us, for he that come with the wrath of the Almighty." This is what it says in the Bible. But this was a vision. I never even read a Bible. This is when my first awakening. This is after I asked Spirit, the creator of all things, to come into my life. So I didn't call on no Jesus, but a biblical thing was shown to me. And I was in tears by the time I got off the bus. So please do not come to me with no Jesus. Jesus has nothing to do with what I'm experiencing spiritually and what I've been shown and why I'm called the Lion of Judah. And the spirit of this lion sits with me every day. And also, after I ask, if you hear my cry, a couple months later, no, I say a month later, I received a vision of a black baby sheep. In my mind's eye, my first eye. And the last thing I saw of him was his eyes. So I may lose a few of you. So be it. But now you know how I feel. I'm driven by the Creator, the Christ, the Creator of all things. Not someone you call a man, not someone you call a father. This being has no gender. In the heavens, gender don't exist. Only energy. So when I said maybe I was wrong, I was talking about those that want to start a channel and tell them, don't give up, keep pushing. That's what I was wrong about. Because these people that is running this YouTube is playing around with people's algorithms, making you really believe that you're doing something. Making you believe that you're really reaching people, and you're not. So they're playing a game because they want to be selective about what the people hear. There's no honor among thieves, and there's no honor among those that do not stand upright, and that is not righteous. So if I didn't believe, I would not be here. If I didn't believe, I would not be telling you my story. And that's not all of it, but to give you enough so you know that I'm serious. It's giving you enough that you know that I am who I say I am. The Lion of Judah, ancestor of the carrion race and lion race, because these things were shown to me and told to me in the etheric world through Claire Audio. You can best believe, and also in the physical as well. This is another thing I learned before I went into Satan's kingdom. It was through faith. I was running by faith. But then when I got in Satan's kingdom, it became physical, it became tangible. Even though some of it was still in the etheric world, but when the source was using the demonic realm, and also me leaving that place, leaving Satan's kingdom when I wasn't supposed to, alive, and also these beings wanted me dead. So I don't know what you guys are trying to push on me about Jesus. Like I said, I respect what everybody believes. That's your belief. But I believe what happened to me spiritually. I believe in the physical synchronicity that has happened to me in Satan's kingdom. In the outside, before I went Satan's kingdom, it was all about faith and what had been shown to me in the physical, but also etherically and through Claire Audio. But it became real, it became physical with my lawyer, the DA, moving me out of Sodom and Gomorrah before I can fall asleep. And the only way you get moved out of a tank is if you get into a fight or lewdness behavior or drugs, smoking, or whatever it may be. That is the ways you get put out of there. But I didn't do any of that. So, this was the physical aspect. How Source, Spirit, Christ was working with me in the physical 3D. He made those people show mercy. What I meant to say was it made those people show mercy. I'm so used to hearing this he stuff. But it made those people show mercy. That's how I got out alive, because of Source, because of Creator of all things. Because because they were trying to stop me from leaving. Because my lawyer came to try to see me a couple times and they never gave me the message. So at this point, I knew the adversary was definitely trying to stop me from getting out of there. And I understand why they were trying to do what they were trying to do. Because of who I am. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything for you. And I'm being real as it gets. And I stand on it. And I stand in my power of who I say I am. So whether you like, love it, or hate it, makes no difference to me. That's the end of that.